would become the center of the most exhausting and expensive lesson of my adult life. But there I was, standing in the cold, watching a grown woman in a North Face jacket lose her mind over a snowplow truck. My name is Franklin Ellis, and 6 months earlier, I inherited something unusual from my uncle. Not a house, not land for development, not even a storefront, just a half-acre parking lot. A plain, cracked asphalt lot, right in the middle of Burlington, Vermont, wedged between two residential buildings. To most people, it looked boring. To me, it looked simple. And simple was exactly what I needed. My uncle Robert had owned that lot since the 1970s. He bought it back when Burlington was smaller, quieter, before condos replaced character. For the last 15 years of his life, he leased the lot to the Pine Ridge Homeowners Association. Their townhouse complex didn't have enough parking, so residents used my uncle's lot as overflow. He plowed it every winter, maintained it himself, and collected a steady monthly check. No drama, no lawsuits, no tantrums. When he passed away, the lot came to me, and at first, I planned to keep everything exactly the same. I'm a contractor by trade, 34 years old, born and raised in Burlington. I run a small construction and property maintenance business. 3 trucks, 1 crew, and my most valuable tool, a beat-up Ford F-250 with a heavy snow plow bolted to the front. If you live in Vermont, you already know this. Winter isn't optional. Snow removal isn't a luxury. It's survival. From November to March, half my income comes from plowing. So when I inherited the lot, I reviewed the lease. It was straightforward. I provide a safe, accessible parking lot. They pay $1,200 a month. No mention of vehicle types. No aesthetic clauses. No HOA rulebooks attached. Just maintenance. Or so I thought. The trouble started the moment I attended my first HOA meeting. It was late October, cold enough to feel winter breathing down your neck. The meeting was held in Pine Ridge's community room, which was just a fancy way of saying a renovated brick building with polished floors and chairs that cost more than my couch. I showed up in work jeans and a flannel, boots still dusty from a job site. Everyone else looked like they stepped out of a catalog. Pressed khakis, designer sweaters, smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. That's when I met Patricia Morton. Patricia was the HOA president. Late 40s. Perfect posture. Haircut that screamed, "I want to speak to your manager." Oversized glasses. Permanent look of irritation. She shook my hand like she didn't want to. "You must be Franklin," she said. "We were so sorry to hear about Robert. He was always very accommodating." I thanked her and told her I planned to continue the lease as is. That's when she smiled. Not a friendly smile. The kind that means, "We need to talk." She gestured for me to sit. "We were actually hoping," she said, "to discuss some updates to our parking policies." I should have walked out right then. Instead, I sat down and listened for 40 minutes. About aesthetic standards, about community image, about property values. And then she dropped the bomb. "Commercial vehicles," Patricia said, "are no longer permitted in HOA-designated parking areas." She paused, then looked straight at me. "This includes the overflow lot." I raised my hand. "Just to be clear," I said, "you're talking about resident vehicles, right?" Patricia tilted her head. "Your truck," she said calmly. "That's a commercial vehicle." The room went quiet. "I used that truck to plow the lot," I said. "I'm not a resident. I'm the property owner." Patricia pulled out a folder. "According to our updated bylaws," she said, "any vehicle parked in HOA spaces must comply with our standards." "But I own the lot," I said. "How am I supposed to maintain it without my truck?" She didn't even blink. "That sounds like a you problem." Something in my chest tightened. My uncle plowed this lot for 15 years with the same kind of truck. That was before the new regulations. Another board member said, "Convenient." If you can't comply, Patricia added, we may need to revisit the lease. And that's when I realized this wasn't about snow. This was about control. I left that meeting furious. That night, I read every word of the lease. Patricia was twisting language, but technically, the HOA standards weren't defined. In the original agreement, they were trying to apply new rules, retroactively. I called my lawyer friend, Mike. He sighed. It's a gray area, he said, and gray areas cost money. That's when winter arrived, and everything escalated.